You probably don't realize this, but people start noticing you long before they speak to you. Sometimes they notice something about you that even you didn't know you were doing. A small habit, a subtle movement, a quiet energy you carry without thinking. And the strange part is these little habits can make you instantly attractive, not because you're trying harder, but because your psychology is speaking louder than your words. Today, I want you to imagine something. Imagine you walk into a room. You're not the most good-looking person there. You're not the tallest, not the richest, not the most charming. But still, someone's eyes stop on you. Not because of your face, but because of the way you move, the way you hold yourself, and the way people feel around you. This video is exactly about that. The habits that make people drawn to you, naturally, effortlessly, silently. Habits backed by psychology that change the way others see you, even if you don't say a single word. Let's start with the first shift you don't even notice happening. There's a habit truly attractive people have when they enter any space. They don't rush. They don't walk in like they're late, stressed, or anxious. Even if they are. Psychologists call this non-reactive presence. It's the quiet confidence of someone who feels grounded in their own skin. And here's the fascinating part. Your mind mirrors the emotion of the person you observe. If someone looks frantic, your body feels tension. If someone looks relaxed, your mind feels safe. And human beings are biologically attracted to whatever feels safe. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, when you enter a room, what energy do people feel from you? Calm? Anxious? Invisible? Or quietly confident? Because attraction begins before any conversation. It begins with your presence, not your appearance. Now, let me tell you something unexpected. People don't fall for you because of how much attention you give. They fall for you because of how much attention you withhold in a healthy way. There is a habit extremely attractive individuals have. They don't try to fill every silence. They don't force conversations. They don't chase connection. Their silence becomes a space where the other person feels the need to come closer. Psychologically, this is called the attractive void. When you stop oversharing, stop over-explaining, stop trying to prove your worth, you suddenly become more interesting. Think of someone you found attractive in the past. Was it the one who talked nonstop? Or the one who said just enough to make you curious? Exactly. Now let me take you a little deeper. There is a micro-habit so small that most people don't even realize they're doing it that reveals your inner confidence instantly. Eye movement, not eye contact, but the way your eyes move in a conversation. Confident people don't scan the room desperately. Their eyes don't jump rapidly like they're seeking approval. Instead, they move slowly, intentionally. This is a sign of a regulated nervous system, and your nervous system is the real language people read. When your eyes move calmly, you communicate. I'm not threatened. I'm in control. I'm comfortable in my body. And this is incredibly attractive because human biology is wired to seek stability. Now here's something most self-help videos never tell you. Being instantly attractive has less to do with how you treat others and more to do with how you treat yourself when others are watching. Let me explain. If someone bumps into you, if you make a small mistake, if you drop something, if you mispronounce a word, attractive people don't panic. They don't shrink. They don't apologize excessively. They just smile, adjust, and move on. Why? Because mistakes don't embarrass people who are comfortable with themselves. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more attractive than emotional stability. People around you subconsciously think, if they're this calm when something goes wrong, imagine how calm they are in a relationship. That's powerful psychology. Now imagine someone is observing you. They're watching how you speak, how you move, how you respond. Attraction starts forming, not from your perfection, but from your self-control. And here's another habit that turns heads instantly, but almost nobody practices it. When someone is speaking, truly attractive people, Don't interrupt. Don't wait for their turn to talk. Don't fake listening. They lean slightly forward, nod slowly, and hold their focus. Your attention is the rarest currency in the modern world. Giving it fully makes people feel seen, and we are always drawn to those who make us feel seen. You don't need to flirt. You don't need to impress. You only need to be fully present, and presence is unforgettable. As we continue, you'll notice a pattern. Everything that makes you attractive has nothing to do with trying harder. It's about letting go of the need to perform. But the most powerful habit, the one that pulls people towards you without effort, is something I will share later in this video, because it's the most subtle, the most misunderstood, and the most transformative. Stay with me. The last habit is the one that changes your entire presence. There's something fascinating about human behavior, something most people never notice about themselves. We don't fall for people who are perfect. We fall for people who make us feel a certain way, safe, curious, understood, energized. And these feelings are created by habits, simple, invisible habits that shape the emotional experience someone has around you. Let me take you deeper. Imagine you're talking to someone who has a calm voice. They're not loud, not aggressive, not overly excited. Their tone is warm, steady, and grounded. Just being around them makes your heart slow down a little. This is called vocal regulation, and research shows it's one of the strongest signals of subconscious attraction. Psychologists say, when your nervous system feels safe with someone, your heart opens faster. This means people don't remember your words. They remember the feeling you leave them with. Quiet confidence, soft energy, warm tone, slow breathing. These are habits of a person who radiates attraction without effort. Attractive people aren't rushing through life. They're not trying to win the conversation. Their energy says, I'm already enough, and that's magnetic. Now let's talk about something most people get wrong. A habit that instantly makes you unattractive without you realizing it. Overreacting. When someone teases you, when someone disagrees with you, when someone challenges you. Do you snap? Do you get defensive? Do you freeze? Do you try too hard to fix it? Highly attractive people don't do any of that. They maintain emotional neutrality, a kind of calm strength. If someone teases them, they smile. If someone challenges them, they stay composed. If someone disagrees, they listen without taking it personally. Why? Because the moment you lose emotional control, you lose psychological attraction. Now let me reveal something deeper, something almost nobody notices. Attractive people use silence in a powerful way. Most people panic during silence. They feel uncomfortable, like they need to fill the space with words. But attractive people embrace the silence, not awkwardly, not nervously, just calmly. And that silence becomes an invitation. The other person begins to talk more, share more, invest more. Silence is a mirror. It pulls curiosity, emotions, and interest out of the other person. This is why the quietest person in the room often becomes the most intriguing. Now, let's talk about a habit that can change your entire social presence. Stillness, not stiffness, but stillness. Psychologically attractive people are not fidgeting. They don't constantly touch their face, their clothes, or their phone. Their body stays grounded, slow, intentional. When your body is still, your presence becomes stronger. People pay attention to you, not because you are doing more, but because you are doing less. You become the eye of the storm, the calm center people subconsciously gravitate toward. And here's something you've probably never noticed. Attractive people don't mimic stress. They mirror calmness. If someone talks fast, they don't match the pace. If someone becomes emotional, they don't instantly react. If someone gets upset, they listen before responding. This habit of emotional regulation is one of the strongest predictors of long-term attraction. Why? Because it makes people feel emotionally safer with you than with others. And human beings bond fastest with the person who provides the most emotional safety. Now let's talk about something much deeper, a habit that doesn't just make you attractive. It makes you unforgettable. Psychologists call it intentional observation. Attractive people notice the small things, the way someone laughs, the color someone always wears, the hesitation in someone's voice, the small change in someone's mood, and they make subtle comments that show they were paying attention. You look tired today. Did you sleep late? I noticed you always hold your cup with your left hand. You went quiet for a second. Everything okay? These small observations create intimacy, the kind of intimacy that makes people feel deeply connected to you without knowing why. Because here's the truth. People don't fall for someone who talks beautifully. People fall for someone who listens beautifully. Now, I want you to imagine something again. Imagine someone walks into your life, and they don't want anything from you. No validation, no approval, no attention. They're just present, calm, observant, grounded. How long would it take for you to feel drawn to them? Exactly. Human attraction is biological, not logical. We don't choose who we find attractive. We respond to the emotional experience someone gives us, and the habits you're learning here. Create that experience effortlessly. But stay with me, because in the next part, you're going to discover some of the rarest habits extremely attractive people have. Habits so subtle and powerful that most people never even notice them, yet they feel them. And that feeling is where attraction truly begins. There's a certain kind of person you meet who stays in your mind long after the conversation ends. You don't know why, but something about them pulls you in. It's not their looks, not their clothes, not even their confidence. It's their habits, the subtle psychological behaviors they use without even realizing. And once you understand these habits, you can become that unforgettable presence too. Let's go deeper. Attractive people have a unique way of giving attention. Not constant attention, not desperate attention, but focused attention. When they look at you, they're fully present. No phone, no distractions, no wandering eyes, just you. It's rare, so it feels special. Humans crave being seen. And when someone makes you feel like the only person in the room, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in desire and attraction. It doesn't matter if they're the most attractive person in the world. That feeling alone can pull you toward them. But here's the twist. Attractive people don't give this attention to everyone. They balance two powerful energies, warmth and mystery. This balance is one of the strongest psychological triggers for attraction. Warmth says, "You are safe with me." Mystery says, "You don't fully have me." And when these two blend, you become irresistible. Now let's talk about something deeper, a habit most people misunderstand. Attractive people don't overshare. They reveal just enough to build connection, but not enough for you to fully figure them out. They don't rush to prove themselves. They don't list their achievements. They don't try to impress you. Instead, they leave emotional space for curiosity. They share small pieces of themselves that make you want to know more. A childhood story, a personal philosophy, a strange habit, a subtle vulnerability. Not too much, just enough. That space creates desire. Psychologists call it gap theory. When your mind receives incomplete information, it keeps thinking about the person until the gap is filled. And that mental replay is what creates attraction. Now, let me show you another habit extremely attractive people have. They speak with intentional pauses. A lot of people speak fast because they're nervous. They worry about being judged, so they rush every sentence. But attractive people? They pause. Not long enough to be awkward, just long enough to show confidence. Because someone who pauses, someone who lets silence breathe, someone who allows their words to land, gives the impression of emotional control. And emotional control is a form of silent power. You can feel it more than you can describe it. Let's go even deeper. There's a habit so subtle that 99% of people never notice it in themselves, but it drastically affects how attractive they appear. It's the habit of emotional validation. Attractive people make you feel understood without agreeing with everything you say. They don't try to dominate the conversation. They don't turn it into a debate. They don't tell you why you're wrong. They simply acknowledge your feelings. I get why you'd feel that way. That must have been tough. I hear you. I understand. Simple lines, but they create emotional intimacy instantly. Because here's the truth. People don't fall for people who are perfect. People fall for people who make them feel understood. Now let's reveal a habit most people never even think about. Attractive people don't chase validation, they give it. Not in a needy way. Not in a forced way. Not in a fake way. They notice what others overlook. Small improvements, small efforts, small details. And when they compliment you, it feels real because it is real. They don't say generic things like, "You look good." They say specific things like, "That color suits you." You explain things so clearly. You have a very calming energy. Specific compliments feel sincere, and sincerity builds trust. And trust builds attraction. But here's the habit that separates them from everyone else. They don't compliment to receive something back. Their validation comes from abundance, not insecurity. This is why their presence feels refreshing. Let's uncover one last habit before the next part, a rare one, a powerful one. A habit that creates instant magnetism. Attractive people have a comfortable relationship with boundaries. Not hard, cold boundaries, but warm, respectful boundaries. They know when to say yes, and they know when to say no. They don't apologize for protecting their time, their energy, or their mental peace. And here's the psychological secret. People respect what is protected. If you don't value your own time, your own energy, your own standards, no one else will. But when you have boundaries, you signal self-worth, and self-worth is one of the most attractive traits a human can possess. You're not guarded, you're just selective. And that selectiveness creates the perception of value. Stay with me, because in the next part we move into the deepest psychological habits, the habits that make someone not just attractive, but unforgettable. There's a moment in every connection where something shifts. You can't explain it, but suddenly you realize this person has stayed in your mind longer than you expected. That moment is created by a very rare habit. It's the habit of emotional presence. Most people are physically present, but mentally somewhere else. They're thinking about their next sentence, their next move, their next impression. But attractive people? They're truly there with you. Their mind isn't jumping. Their emotions aren't rushing. They're engaged. They're listening. They're responding at the perfect pace. That emotional presence creates a sense of calm that pulls you inward. And calmness, not chaos, is what forms deep attraction. But let's go deeper into another habit that separates unforgettable people from everyone else. They know how to create safe tension, not pressure, not manipulation, not games, just a natural balance of comfort and curiosity. They can make you laugh and make you think in the same conversation. They know when to lean in and when to lean back. They don't rush connection, they allow it. This kind of tension activates a powerful psychological system. Reward unpredictability. Your brain starts releasing dopamine each time you interact with them, not because they're inconsistent, but because they're interesting. You start wondering what they'll say next, how they'll react, what they're thinking. And curiosity is the beginning of desire. Now let's talk about a habit that almost nobody suspects is linked to attraction, the habit of emotional self-control. Think of it this way. When someone stays calm under stress, when they don't break down under pressure, when they don't explode in anger or insecurity, your brain reads them as stable, strong, and safe. In psychology, this is called secure emotional signaling. People with emotional self-control naturally give off a sense of safety, leadership, and maturity. It makes their presence feel grounding. It makes their words feel more meaningful. It makes their attention feel more valuable. And this is where another powerful habit appears. They don't rush intimacy. Not emotional intimacy, not physical intimacy, not conversational intimacy. They let things build slowly. They allow the other person to reveal themselves naturally. And this pace creates something most people never experience: the feeling of being chosen, not chased. Being chosen touches a deep psychological need, the need for significance. Humans don't want to be an option. They want to be the exception. And emotionally mature, attractive people give you that exact feeling, not through big gestures, but through consistent respect and intentional presence. Now let's uncover a habit that sits at the heart of true attraction. They communicate with emotional clarity. They don't leave you confused. They don't give mixed signals. They don't disappear and reappear. Their intentions match their behavior. And this is magnetic because confusion destroys attraction. Clarity builds it.